Hey there! In today's video I go over the E major 7 chord and its inversions on the first 4 strings. So I begin with the root position and then move through the 4 inversions and then show some different ways of playing around these chords and inversions that are from the E major scale. There are ways that you can manipulate and embellish these chords to create melody and different interesting voicings that you may not have thought of. So I'm going to go to a close-up shot of my guitar and jump right in. So to begin, I'm going to go through the 4 positions or the 4 inversions of the E major 7 chord. And the voicing that I'm going to start with is root position on the first 4 strings. So 2nd fret, 4th string, 4th fret of the first 3 strings. So moving from there, the way that I think about inverting these chords is I think about the top note moving up. So my highest note here is a third of the chord. So if I'm inverting it, I'm moving it up to the next chord tone. So I'm moving from the 3rd to the 5th. And now I create this shape, which is a bit of a stretch because it has this minor 2nd interval in the middle, but we have the 3rd of the chord, G sharp, here at the 6th fret of the 4th string, and then the 8th fret of the 3rd string with my 4th finger, the 5th fret of the 2nd string with my 1st finger playing the root note, and then my 3rd finger reaching the 5th of the chord at the 7th fret of the 1st string. Moving from there, I'm going to move my top note from the 5th of the chord up to the major 7, and then this one is easy. I just bar at the 9th fret of the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings and play the major 7 on top here. From there, my top note goes up from the major 7 to the root note E, and I'm going to play the 12th fret at the 1st and 2nd strings and the 13th fret on the 3rd and 4th strings. And I'm doing this with 2 fingers. I'm barring with my 1st finger here and then 2nd finger. I'm managing to bar that without getting in the way of the 2nd string, but you can also do it this way. Using 2 fingers to play those 2 and then still barring with your 1st finger. That's an easier way to do it for me. So moving through these 4 inversions, starting with root position, 1, 5, 7, 3 from the bottom up. First inversion, 3, 7, 1, 5. Second inversion, 5, 1, 3, 7. Third inversion, 7, 3, 5, 1. Each of these chords has a number of melodic notes that you can use to embellish the chord or to play melodies when you're in these positions. So I'm going to go over each of those 4 voicings and then the different variations on those voicings that you can do or that I like to do. I'm sure there's a lot more, but these are ones that I find really useful. So starting here at the root position of E major 7, I'm going to bar with my 1st finger and just leave my 3rd finger only on the 3rd string at the 4th fret. And now this is an E6-9 because we have the 6th note of the E scale here and the 9 or the 2 right here. It's called a 9 when it's in the next octave up. It's the same thing as 2. So that is an E6-9. Then I can just put my pinky onto the 4th fret of the 1st string to make an E6 chord, which is also the same thing as a C sharp minor 7 in 1st inversion. Then I can also just put my pinky on the 2nd string 4th fret and leave my 1st fingers to bar the 1st string. And this is a really pretty open major 9 that does not have a 3rd in it, so it's an interesting chord. And I like to use this for hammering on. So here's an example of what you could do with these different voicings. So starting with the major. Just one example. You can do all sorts of things with them. So reviewing those four, we have major 7, 6, 9, 6, and major 9. Moving up to the next voicing, next inversion, first inversion. So this is E major 7 with the 3 on the bottom, so 3, and then the 7th, minor second to the root note, and then the 5th on top. So some ideas for different chords that fit into this position in the E scale. From here we could go to this, which is an E major 9 with no root. If I play the root down at the open E string, 6th string, and then play this chord, you can hear that major 9 sound. We got the 3, the 7, the 9, and the 5. Another one we can do is the major 6, 9, which is very much easier on the fingers than this and faster to get to. So I'll show you how I use that for traveling up the neck in a single chord in a minute, but from here we can go to this one, and then this one, major 6, 9, again with no root, and then we can also play that for an E6, which is a C sharp minor 7 again, just the next inversion up from this one that we played down here. Next is the second inversion, this one. So this shape is the 5th on bottom, the root, the 3rd, and then the major 7 on top. From there we can just lower the major 7 down a whole step to C sharp, 9th fret there, and just bar all at the 9th fret, all 4 strings, and that's another voicing, the next inversion of the C sharp minor 7, which is also an E6. Another one you can do from here is to move the 7th up to the root note up here, and then add the 9 here. It's kind of an add 9 sound. It's also a voicing that you can use for a suspended chord. And when you're at this voicing here, you're in the position of pentatonic shape number 1, the minor pentatonic shape. So all of those notes are fair game also. So you can embellish this chord here by doing any of these. And any combination of them. So going over those again, so we have our major 7 in second inversion, our E6, have our E add 9, and then all the other possibilities using those notes out of the scale. So the final shape, final inversion, third inversion, meaning the 7th is on the bottom, so we have 7, 3, 5, 1. And here are some shapes around that you can play. We have our C sharp minor 7 shape, which is an E6. The next inversion up from this one. So we've done all those inversions. It's an E6. Then we have this one, major 6/9. And then I have this one, which what I did is from here I went up from the 7 on the bottom, a half step to the root note, and then from the top, the root note here, I moved up a whole step to F sharp, making an E add 9. So all the voicings here for this third inversion have major 7, E6, E major 6/9, and add 9. So moving back through these, I'm just going to show you a little bit of what you can do with these voicings moving up and down. Okay, to wrap things up, I'm just going to show you some ways that I use these ideas in rhythm playing. So I am going to play in a kind of R&B, funk, kind of soul style in 4th position on my Strat. I've got a nice clean sound going with a little EQ boost, cutting the highs a little bit, adding a little bit of low end, and then a little bit of compression. Adding some sweetness, just a very slight amount of compression. So anyway, here, and some delay on there too. Okay, here I go. I want to just try a little something using this idea. I'd say that sure beats just sitting on an E major 7 all day. If you can embellish these chords, it really adds a lot. Here's a little more of a jazz kind of way to do this if you're comping. A little too dark there. Let's see. Much of a jazz sound with the compression and on a Strat, but I think you can get the idea. Anyway, I hope you enjoy. Have a good day.